What is going on, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of SWACtalk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I am your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells, and I'm coming at you with this Week 9 recap. We're going to go ahead and cover all the action in Week 9. But before we do any of that, I saw a couple of reports today. I didn't know anything before, but I saw a couple of reports today that Coach Sanders had been hospitalized this week. So I know he tweeted out after the game with that and him being proud of the effort that his team and his team staff showed during the week. So I'm assuming everything's okay. Some reports said he had some serious issues, but I don't know anything about that. But I just want to say, prayers and salute to him, man, as he continues to recover from his foot surgery. So hopefully nothing else is more serious than that, and he can get back on the sidelines, hopefully this week, and continue to coach the Tigers in their chase for a SWAC championship. So again, salute to Coach Sanders, and hopefully health-wise he's doing okay. So just wanted to throw that out there first and foremost. Um, as you know, the socials are on the screen down below, so feel free to give those a like, follow. If you love to donate to the show, you get the Cash App, $ Swag Talk. You can do that. Check out since you're here on the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, why don't you go ahead and do so. Show continues to grow, and I can't do this without any of you guys, so thank you very much for all the love and appreciation that you guys have shown thus far. So definitely thank you for that, and I look forward to you guys subscribing. If you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell. You can be alerted to the content that I upload, and like the videos, hit the comments anytime you want. I'll respond. So with all that being said, man, let's talk some SWAC football. We're gonna cover the first game that we're gonna cover is Texas Southern and UAPB. And this was a game I thought Texas Southern had a really good chance of winning. I did not expect it to go this way. I guess the Pine Bluff ship has officially sank now. They can go ahead and get ready for spring practice and recruiting because their season is over. Pine Bluff drops 1-7 on the season and 0-5 in conference. Texas Southern is 3-5 and 2-3 in conference, so they're on the rise, man. They're a team who is playing very much better since Andrew Body began to start. I know that's a name that everybody has to know by now, and that's a name that I'm gonna continue to pump up because he's doing the work that's necessary of a young quarterback to put himself on that pedestal. So he's getting better. The offense is getting better. This is probably the best defensive effort that Texas Southern has played all year against a Division One opponent. Pine Bluff continues to free fall. I don't even know if this fall is gonna ever end. This is probably the worst season after a division championship that I've ever seen from anybody, including Pine Bluff, because they do have a history of this. They won a SWAC championship. They won the SWAC West in 2007, and then they lost the next year. Um, they lost everything the next year. They won the SWAC itself in 2012. The next year they went on a downslide that they did not come out of until 2019. So this is a Pine Bluff thing, man. They win a division championship, then they fall off the cliff. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. They're not. They're probably not even gonna finish fifth place. I think they're gonna finish sixth. And it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. Pine Bluff actually got the scoring started first with a field goal from Zach Pisniska to take a 3-0 lead early in the first quarter. Then Texas Southern went on a run. First off, Jonathan Giles caught a 12-yard pass from Andrew Body. Jaron Johnson caught a 48-yard pass from Andrew Body. Keelan Davis caught a 6-yard pass from Andrew Body. Giles caught his second touchdown of the afternoon, a 5-yard pass from Body um, to put Texas Southern up 28-3 at the half. Texas Southern got a field goal from Rick Garcia to start the second half to go up 31-3 before Pine Bluff finally got a touchdown from Kayvon Britton when he ran a 2-yard touchdown to make the score 31-10. Andrew Body responded with a 9-yard touchdown run of his own to put Texas Southern up 38-10. Pine Bluff got their final touchdown of the day when Trey Harrell caught a 46-yard pass from Skylar Perry to make the score 38-17. Then Ja'Cory Howard scored a 1-yard run for Texas Southern. Derek Morton caught a 21-yard pass from Jalen Brown, and then King Blanton. That's a name I hadn't heard much this year, but he caught a 20-yard pass from Jalen Brown. So Texas Southern wins 59-17 and was able to pull starters, man. That's something that usually has been done to them, but they've been able to do that. And this team has really grown from week 1 to week 9, and this is a really testament to what Coach McKinney has done with that program. And they have, I think, 58 freshmen right now. So this team is very young. They're still growing and they're still learning, and this is a huge win for them. As they continue to develop week in and week out. And I really think they have a couple more victories ahead of them toward the end of the season. So this team is only getting better, and they're only going to be more dangerous in the future. And a great offensive output for the Tigers. Pine Bluff again, 16 first downs on the night. Texas Southern 30. Pine Bluff 60 yards rushing on 28 carries. Again, their running game is just kaput. I don't know what happened. Their running game is just very, very not good. Texas Southern 275 on the ground on 53 carries, 5.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Pine Bluff 2.1 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. The sad part is Texas Southern, Pine Bluff didn't even run for 100 yards total. They only ran for 90 and they lost 30, so they didn't even crack the 100-yard mark and then finished with less than 100 net yards. So just not a good night for them. Passing was better. 323 for Pine Bluff, 27 of 40, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Texas Southern, 18 of 27, 312 on the night, 6 touchdowns and no interceptions. Man, that's a tremendous outing for that offense. 383 total offense for Pine Bluff on 68 plays, 5.6 yards per play. They fumbled twice and lost 1. They had 7 penalties, 75 yards. Texas Southern, 587 total offense, 80 plays, 7.3 yards per play, 2 fumbles. They didn't lose any, so a very clean night for the Tigers, no turnovers. And they had 4 penalties for 34 yards. So just not a game of not hurting themselves at all. And when you don't shoot yourself in the foot, you win games. 49 yard per punt average for Pine Bluff, 39.5 for Texas Southern. Time of possession, 27 minutes, 34 seconds for Pine Bluff, 32 minutes, 26 seconds for Texas Southern. Pine Bluff 4 of 13 on third down, Texas Southern 11 of 14. Really good numbers. I don't know how many times I can say that, but really, really good numbers. 1 of 3 on 4th down for Pine Bluff. Texas Southern did not attempt a 4th down. Pine Bluff 2 of 3 in the red zone. Texas Southern 7 for 7. 1 sack for Pine Bluff. 4 sacks for Texas Southern. All around, very, very good team effort in this game for Texas Southern. This, honestly, I think is their best game that they played in quite some time against a Division I opponent. You had to go back, good God, like 3-4 years since they played a game this well. A very solid game for them. Skylar Perry, 25 of 37 for Pine Bluff, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times. Xavier Vaughn came in. He was 2 for 3 for 12 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked once. Andrew Body, 16 of 25, 271, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. Jalen Brown, 2 for 2, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sack. Kayvon Britton led Pine Bluff with 12 carries for 52 yards. Daniel Ingram, 3 carries, 16 yards. And that's pretty much it for them. Body, 16 carries, 121 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground, 7.6 yards per carry average. Ja'Cory Howard, 6 carries, 77 yards, 12.8 yards per carry. Dominic Franklin, 10 carries, 68 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. Really, really great running effort for Texas Southern. Trey Harrell, 8 catches, 126 yards for Pine Bluff, 1 touchdown. Josh Wilkes, 8 catches, 59 yards. Kevian Johnson, 1 catch, 55 yards. Dalen Hill, 1 catch, 28 yards. DeJuan Miller, 2 catches, 24 yards. Jaron Johnson, 2 catches for Texas Southern for 90 yards and a touchdown. Keelan Davis, 5 catches, 84 yards and a touchdown. King Blanton, 2 catches, 30 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Giles, 3 catches for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns. Savon Sims, 3 catches, 28 yards. Defensively, Pine Bluff was led in tackles by Jalen Thigpen with 9, Kalen Knox with 8, Jabaz Parikh with 5, Monroe Beard III with 5, Ethan Smith with 5, Kevian Johnson with 4, tackles for loss, Tariq and Hamilton each had 2 apiece, followed by Smith, Akins, and Brooks with 1 apiece. That 1 sack was from Smith. No forced fumbles, no interceptions. Texas Southern was led in tackles by Tariq Cooper with 7, Jacob Williams with 6, Joshua Murray and Marquise Walker with 5, Michael Batterjo with 4, Drew Robinson with 4, tackles for loss, Batterjo 3 tackles for loss, Williams, Akins, and Walton Jr. each had 1 tackle for loss apiece. Sacks, 2 sacks for Batterjo, 1 for Williams and 1 for Akins. Walton and Tucker had forced fumbles. Forced fumble recovery was by Tucker, and interception was by Tariq Cooper. So, I can't say it enough, man. This was a very, very good game for Texas Southern, and they're looking really sharp, man. I think they're playing well right now. The offense is looking really good. Andrew Body's playing very well, but those other guys on offense are also playing well too. It's not a one-man show. The running backs are doing well. The receivers are doing well. The offensive line is blocking well for him right now. And the defense played a very good game in this game. Pine Bluff, I don't know where they go from here. Their season is over. Even if they won the rest of their games, they would finish with a losing record. So it's just when they're going to stop the bleeding is the question, not, anything else. This was a very disappointing season for them. I know with Doc Gamble, this being his first full season, he's not going to get fired, but I'm sure that he's going to have to make some staff changes, and he's going to have to prove that he's the man for the job, because right now this is not a good look. That Alcorn game, I think, broke them, and they just never bounced back. So this is a horrendous free fall for Pine Bluff, and we'll see where they go from here. The next game that we want to talk about is the Magic City Classic. Alabama A&M defeated Alabama State by a score of 42-28. Alabama A&M got on the board first. D. Anderson, 37-yard touchdown pass from Glass. Alabama State responded with a 31-yard pass from Nettles to Corker. Ibrahim got the Bulldogs back on board with a 55-yard pass from Glass. Garrett Quarles, 17-yard run before Keyshawn Johnson ran a 4-yard touchdown for Alabama State to make the halftime score 21-14. Ezra Gray scored a touchdown for Alabama State to tie the score at 21 in the third before Odoo Hilaire got a 37-yard pass from Glass. Garrett Quarles, a 1-yard run to make the score 35-21. Wallace Corker got his second touchdown of the game from 13 yards out from Nettles to make the score 35-28. And then with 5 minutes left, Kendrick Johnson caught a 28-yard pass from Glass to make the final margin 42-28. This was honestly a pretty solid defensive effort for Alabama A&M. A lot of us have really clowned them because of their defense, and I obviously picked Alabama State to not win, but to score a lot of points and get a lot of yards. And they still scored 28 points, but the defense played a lot better in this game. They were able to hold Alabama State to 117 yards rushing on 29 carries, 4 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. Alabama A&M 136 yards rushing, 29 carries, 4.7 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Passing, Alabama State 24, 39, 243, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Alabama A&M 20 of 33, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Really good game for Alabama A&M's offense. Some of the issues that they had in that losing streak did not pop up in this game. They had 457 yards of total offense on 62 plays, 7.4 yards per play. They did fumble once, but didn't lose it. So that gave them no turnovers on the night. And that's something that had plagued them in all 3 of their losses with turnovers. So they did not turn the ball over at all. They came out ahead in the turnover battle, and that helps you win. They only had 5 penalties for 45 yards. Alabama State, 360 yards of offense on 68 plays, 5.3 yards per play. They fumbled once but didn't lose it. 7 penalties for 52 yards for the Hornets. 32-yard per punt average for the Hornets. 31.8 for the Bulldogs. That's punt average. 32 minutes and 13 seconds time of possession for Alabama State. 27-47 for Alabama A&M. Alabama State 4 of 11 on third down and 1 for 2 on fourth down. Bulldogs 5 of 4 on third down and no fourth down attempts. Red zone, Hornets 3 of 3, Bulldogs 2 for 2. 2 sacks for Alabama State and Alabama A&M with 3. So again, they cut down the number of sacks that they allowed. They still allowed 2 sacks, but that's less than they've allowed in most of the other games that they lost. So this was a much better played game for Alabama A&M, and it resulted in a win. A solid effort from both sides of the ball. As I said, the defense played their best game of the season. They really, kept Alabama State under control for the most part. Brian Nettles, 24 of 38, 243, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks. Glass, 20 of 33, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 2 sacks. Ezra Gray had a really good game for honestly, I think his first good game of the season. 12 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Nettles, 10 carries for 20 yards and 2-yard average. Ezra Gray, 7.6-yard average. Merritt, 6 carries, 10 yards. Garrett Quarles, 20 carries, 126 yards, and 2 touchdowns, averaged 6.3 yards per carry. And other than that, nobody else really touched the ball in the run game. Langford had 1 carry, and Glass had 6. So not much else for them, but a good game from Garrett Quarles. Jeremiah Hickson led Alabama State with 10 catches for 111 yards, 116 yards, 32-yard long catch. Wallace Corker, 6 catches, 73 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Long catch of 31. Kieron Jones, 2 catches, 27 yards. And Keyshawn Johnson, 3 catches, 21 yards, and a touchdown. Ibrahim led the Bulldogs with 6 catches for 104 yards and a touchdown. D. Anderson, 4 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Kendrick Johnson, 3 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Hilaire, 3 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Quarles, 4 catches, 29 yards. Defensively, Christian Clark led Alabama State with 5 tackles. Rodney Eccles, Terry Nichols, Andrew Ogletree, Devontae Webster, and Brandon Gaddy each had 4 tackles apiece. Tackles for loss, Ogletree 1.5, Rompersad, Gaddy 3, and Strong each had 1, and then Clark had a half a tackle for loss. Sacks were from Rompersad with 1, Clark and Ogletree each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Half a sack, a loss apiece. Forced fumbles, none. Interception, none. So, this defense does what they can do, but when the other team's offense is clicking like Alabama A&M offense is, they give them a lot of problems. And the offense still is not fully carrying the weight for the team, but they played a better offensive game, but still not good enough to win. Armani Holloway, 8 tackles to lead the Bulldogs. Ezio Mamume, I guess I'm saying that name right. Apologies if I'm not. 8 tackles for him. Trenton McGee, 6 tackles. Jabron McNeil, 6 tackles. Amari Holloway, 5 tackles. Travis Kelly, 5 tackles. Drake Carter, 4 tackles. Seen a lot of names that I haven't seen in this box score in a few weeks pop up. So a very, very much improved effort for Alabama A&M on defense. Breon Austin, 1.5 tackles for loss. Aaron Robinson, 1 tackle for loss. McNeil, 1 tackle for loss. Amari Holloway, 1 tackle for loss. Kelly, 1 tackle for loss. Selmar Russell, 1 tackle for loss. Trenton McGee, half a tackle for loss. Sacks by Robinson, Austin, and Kelly. They each had 1. No forced fumbles. Interception was by Green. And again, just a really, really good effort for this team, man. It's just you really have to be, you really have to show a lot of props to Alabama A&M for stepping up and responding to that losing streak that they had. I thought they played a better game on both sides of the ball than they have most portions of the season. And I really don't know where Alabama State goes from here. I think the heat is on. I don't know if it's hot enough to really fire Ely, but I think the heat is on. This is a game that, coming into the game, I think they thought they can win. If you look at the way Alabama A&M defense played this season, you always feel like you got a shot with your offense, but they're still not getting it fully done in the run game, and that's hurting them a lot. So Alabama State still is trying to find find some kind of consistency that they have not had this season. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks to see how the season ends for the Hornets. It doesn't get any easier for them in upcoming weeks, so they really have to respond and respond quickly to probably save Coach Ely's job. I'm not saying he's getting fired right now, but it's gonna be really hot for him. The next game that we're gonna talk about is the Mississippi Valley Jackson State game. Valley was able to hang tough with Jackson. They dropped a 28-19 decision to the Tigers. This was a game that I tried to follow the score as best as I could while I was at the Southern game, but Valley fought hard, and Valley's been fighting hard. And if you watch Swag Smoke this week, then you know DJ had posed the question that is it time to say that Valley's getting better and not, just saying the opponent didn't play well? I think Valley's getting better. Like I said, week in and week out, Valley's fighting hard. This was a game where I gave them zero chance of being close in, and they actually led this game a couple times. And then they never let Jackson get too far ahead of them, and they only lost by 9. So they played well. They did what Valley can do. They still don't have the weapons to really win these games, but they're fighting and they're competing. So that's all you can ask for a team like this. Valley actually got the scoring started when Fernandez made a 24-yard field goal for them. Jackson State responded with a 21-yard pass from Sanders to Lanier. I did see that highlight. That man was wide open. That had to be a blown coverage. Valley got another field goal from Fernandez to trail 7-6. And that was our halftime score. So a very good defensive effort for Valley to keep Jackson State off the scoreboard. But once in the first half, Valley took the lead in the third quarter when the Dontavius Porter ran a 23-yard touchdown. We caught a 23-yard touchdown pass from Jelani Easton. Valley went up 12-6. They missed the extra point. Jackson State got a 41-yard pass from Sanders to Weidman to take a 14-12 lead. Al Young, 26-yard fumble recovery, scoop and score, giving Jackson State a 21-12 lead. Caleb Johnson, 1-yard run, put Valley down 21-19. And then Trevonte Rucker caught a 74-yard pass from Shedeur Sanders to make the final margin 28-19. And like I said, strange things happen at Valley. That's when you go up there and if you haven't played there, you realize that you're gonna have to fight. They're gonna fight up there. When they play away from there, but at home, Valley is very tough. So you really have to bring your work boot and your hard hat. And Jackson definitely had to do that. 12 first downs for Jackson State, 18 for Valley, 30 yards rushing for Jackson State on 23 carries, 1.3 yards per carry, no touchdowns. 122 yards rushing for Valley, 41 carries, 3 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Jackson State, 18 of 31 passing, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So Valley's defense definitely made some big plays. 125 yards passing for Valley, 14 of 29. They had 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions. Circle that number, man. That number really hurt Valley a lot. I know that's an understatement to say, but it really hurt them a lot. 287 total offense for Jackson State. That's a really good game for Valley. They gave up 3 explosive touchdowns and a fumble return for a touchdown. So they basically made Jackson have to score explosively to win this game. They couldn't drive the ball and win. So Valley played a solid defensive effort. Offensively, they did what they could do. They had, like I said, Jackson State 287 total offense, 54 plays, 5.3 yards per play, 2 fumbles. They lost 1. So Jackson State 3 turnovers. They actually lost the turnover battle. They actually won the turnover battle in this game, 5-1. 5-3. So they was +2 in turnovers. Valley was -2. 8 penalties for Jackson State, 40 yards. Valley 247 total offense on 70 plays, 3.5 yards per play, 1 fumble, and they lost it. 7 penalties for 32 yards. Jackson State 30.8 yard per punt average. Valley 47.4. Time of possession, Jackson State 24 minutes and 5 seconds, 35 minutes and 55 seconds for Valley. Jackson State 5 of 13, third downs, 0 for 1 fourth down. Valley 3 of 14 on third down, and 0 for 1 on fourth down. Jackson State 0 for 1 in the red zone. Valley was 3 for 3. 6 sacks for Jackson State. So the defense definitely they still gave Valley a lot of problems. 6 sacks and 5 turnovers is a big game for them. 2 sacks for Valley on the night. And looking individually, Shadua Sanders 18 to 31, 257, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked twice. Jelani Easton 14 to 26, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times. Connor Reagan came on and went 0 for 3. No interceptions, no touchdowns, no sacks. J.D. Martin led Jackson State with 9 carries for 19 yards. Santi Marshall, 5 carries, 16 yards. Peyton Pickett, 5 carries, 4 yards. This rush game is just I don't know where I just don't know. The run game is just not there right now. They look like they turned the corner with the running game, but they have not. It's regressed again. The passing game was better. It was not as good as it's been most weeks. Like I said, they lived on the explosive play. Valley played a pretty solid defensive game. Caleb Johnson, 25 carries, 119 yards, and 1 touchdown. Williams, 4 carries, 32 yards. Rucker led Jackson State with 1 catch for 74 yards and a touchdown. Malachi Wideman, 4 catches, 66 yards and a touchdown. Lanier, 6 catches, 62 yards and 1 touchdown. Corbin, 3 catches, 29 yards. Ja'Cory Rankin led Valley with 4 catches for 36 yards. Myers, 2 catches, 29 yards. Porter, 2 catches, 28 yards and a touchdown. Robinson, 2 catches, 27 yards. Antoine Owens led Jackson State with 9 tackles. Hampton, 7. Craig, 6. Huggins, 5. Miller, 5. Gaddy, 5. Warren, 4. Reagan, 4. Tackles for loss. Owens, 3.5. Davis, 1.5. Reagan, 1. Houston, 1. And Craig, a half a tackle for loss. Owens, 2 sacks on the night. Davis, 1.5 sacks on the night. Reagan and Houston with 1 apiece. And Craig with a half sack apiece. Interceptions. Gaddy, Young, Holmes, and Haney each had 1 interception apiece. Fumble recovery was by Young. He returned 26 yards for a touchdown. Valley was led by Dion Reed with 7 tackles. Keontae Daniels with 6. Gladney with 6. William Morgan, 5. Martin, 4. Tackles for loss. Martin, 2. Thomas, 1. Bell, 1. Craig, Kane, 1. Daniels, 1. Reed, 1. Soignier, 1. And Garner, 1. Sack. Thomas and Bell each had 1. Forced fumbles. William Morgan and Robertson each had a forced fumble apiece. Morgan, fumble recovery. Interceptions were by Gladney and Brunson. Like I said, man, this game is more. I'm gonna say it's more Valley playing better. Jackson State didn't play their best game, but they were able to get the win at the end. But Valley is fighting hard, and they're a tough team to beat right now. They haven't quite crossed that hump of beating good teams, but they're really giving good teams a lot of problems, especially at home. This is back-to-back weeks of home games that they really had a chance in late. And they really are just kind of finding their stride. They aren't really winning yet, but they're definitely causing a lot of problems. So, as usual, I would say look out for Valley. They're a team that's going to be tough to play against in the last few weeks of the season. The next game we're going to talk about is Florida A&M defeating Grambling 26-3. This is a game the Rattlers pretty much controlled from start to finish. It kind of went pretty much the way that I expected it to go. Kind of use defense. It's too tough for Grambling's offense. I thought Grambling defense kept them in this game for the most part, but Sherrod got the scoring started with a 15-yard reception from McKay to make the score 7-0. Hawkins 6-yard pass from McKay, 14-0 Rattlers. Jalen McLeod 1-yard touchdown run for the Rattlers halftime score, 21-0. Garrett Urban finally got Grambling on the board in the third quarter with a field goal from 35 yards. Savion Williams got a safety for FAMU to make the score 23-3. And then Romo Martinez, 44-yard field goal from from FAMU to make the final margin 26-3 in a game. Like I said, this is a game. This is a lot similar to the Alabama State FAMU game, where FAMU just really controlled the game, and they really weren't in any trouble at any portion of this game. Grambling 10 first downs, Florida A&M 24, 121 yards rushing for Grambling on 28 carries, 4.3 yards per carry, no touchdowns. 146 yards for FAMU rushing on 39 carries, 3.7 yards per carry, one touchdown. 66 yards passing for Grambling, 7 of 20, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Florida A&M 21 of 35 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 210 yards, 187 yards of total offense for Grambling, 48 plays, 3.9 yards per play. They didn't fumble, so no turnovers for Grambling. 6 penalties for 61 yards, 356 total offense for the Rattlers on 74 plays, 4.8 yards per play, no fumbles for them. 10 penalties for 84 yards. Grambling 37 yards per punt average. Florida A&M 43 yards per punt average. Time of possession, Grambling 22 minutes and 59 seconds. Florida A&M 37 minutes and 1 second. Grambling 3 of 11 on third down and 0 for 1 on fourth down. Florida A&M 9 of 15 on third down and 0 for 2 on fourth down. Red zone, 1 for 2 for Grambling, 3 of 4 for Florida A&M. No sacks for Grambling, 3 for the Rattlers. Individually, Elijah Walker was 6 of 13 for Grambling for 63 yards. No touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Alden Clark, 1 for 7 for 3 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Rashawn McKay, 20 of 34, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, no sacks. Junior Muratovic, he was 1 for 1 for 6 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Clark led Grambling with 58 yards on 2 carries, Longer 55. C.J. Russell, 6 carries for 22 yards. Donald Johnson, 2 carries, 13 yards. Walker, 9 carries, 13 yards. Terrell Jennings led Florida A&M with 12 carries for 54 yards and 4.5 yard average per carry. Jalen McLeod, 10 carries, 48 yards. Bishop and a touchdown. Bishop Barnett, 9 carries, 26 yards. Greg White led Grambling with 2 catches for 23 yards. Kobe Ross, 1 catch, 21 yards. Donald Johnson, 2 catches, 11 yards. Xavier Smith, 7 catches for FAMU for 72 yards. Chad Hunter, 4 catches, 53 yards. Gerard, 4 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Bishop Barnett, 1 catch for 13 yards. Grambling was led by Keenan Fontenot with 6 tackles. Quentin Mitchell with 6 tackles, and Blake Thomas with 6. Myron Stewart, 5. Devonair Martin, 4 tackles for loss. Thomas, 2. Anderson, Powell, Matthews, and Green each had 1 tackle for loss apiece. Martin and Richardson, a half a tackle for loss apiece. No sacks, no forced fumbles, and 1 interception was by Keelan Elder. Florida A&M was led in tackles by Marquise Bell with 6. B.J. Bowler with 5. Courtney Cox with 4. Timothy Williams, 4. Gentle Hunt with 4. Tackles for loss, Hunt, 2. Williams, 1.5. Land, 1.5. Williams, Deontay Williams, 1. And Marquise Bell with 1. Sacks were by Williams, 1.5. Hunt, 1, and Land with a half a sack. No forced fumbles and no interceptions. So again, like I said, this was pretty much about a numbers game. Florida A&M basically did what they wanted. They kind of took care of business. They came in, they got a couple early scores, and defense was able to just keep Grambling at bay. Grambling could not move the ball through the air, so once they got behind, they were not going to come back. And Grambling's offense continues to struggle. This has been a really bad season for them offensively. They're really wasting a fairly good defensive effort week in and week out. And it's going to be interesting to see how they close out their season. Florida A&M is still playing very good defense offensively. They're not playing great. They're doing what they need to do. They have, if they find themselves in a tough game, will their offense be able to get them out of it? They were able to do that at the end of the Alabama A&M game. They were able to hold steady against Valley, so we'll see if they continue to play that way. I think if they want to kind of take that next step, the offense still has to get a bit better. Our final game um, of the week was a game that, to me, I would honestly say I did not expect this outcome. I picked against Southern, and I obviously was wrong. But Southern, I needed Southern to prove to me that they really had the heart and will to play in this game. I didn't know what their mentality would be like coming out after that bad Prairie View loss. But this team has always, week in and week out, after a loss, they've won. They're 4-4. Every loss, they responded with a win. So they played a very good game offensively. Now, defensively, I'm not even going to fuss about Southern's defense this week. Felix Harper had a great game, extending plays in the in on third quarter. I mean, on third downs especially. But Southern was able to put a lot of long drives together. They did make Alcorn have to drive the field for the most part. In the touchdowns they gave up came pretty much at the end of decent drives. Southern was able to play very well in this game. Alcorn played a really good offensive game too. The defense was up and down, but this was two offenses that basically did what they wanted, and it came down to the very end. A really exciting game. I mean, it was a great game to be at. These two teams, they have a lot of history. This was Southern's first victory over Alcorn in 5 years. Only their second victory in like the last 11 matchups. So this was a very important win for Southern in a lot of ways. Alcorn, they're still surviving in the race, but this really sets up a must win against Prairie View, although it really would have been that way anyway. But Southern defeats Alcorn 38-33. If you watch this game, I'm sure you saw that it was a very offensive game. If you were at the game, then you felt the atmosphere was very, very good. Both sides were very enthusiastic in this game, and both teams tried to win. Nobody really didn't, didn't make a lot of mistakes, and it just came down to a game-winning field goal with no time left by Southern. Southern 27 first downs, Alcorn 24. Alcorn 241 rushing on 38 carries, 6.3 yards per carry, and one touchdown. Southern 194 yards rushing on 54 carries, 3.6 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. Passing, Alcorn 206, 13 of 26, 4 touchdowns, no interception. Southern 258 passing, 20 of 34, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Total offense, Alcorn 447 on the night, 64 plays, 7 yards per play, 3 fumbles, and they lost 2 of them. 7 penalties for 55 yards. Southern 452 yards of offense on 88 plays, 5.1 yards per play. They fumbled once and didn't lose it. 7 penalties for 85 yards. Very, very few undisciplined penalties by either team. I thought this was a pretty clean game. To say it was an emotional type game. Not a lot of after play penalties. Not a lot of chippiness in this game. They have a little bit toward the end, but you could almost chalk that up to the emotion of the game. Both teams really wanted to win, and there was some talking back and forth, but nothing excessive. Nothing that really was a problem in this game. So I really salute Southern for responding to that because, like I said, I was very critical of that situation last week. So they did a better job of that because this was an emotional game for both teams. Alcorn punted twice for 32-yard average. Southern punted 3 times for 39-yard average. Time of possession, Alcorn 26 minutes and 52 seconds. Southern 32 minutes and 54 seconds. Alcorn 5 of 10 on third down. Southern 14 of 20. Southern has so many long drives and they had a lot of third downs. Not many third and longs, but a lot of third downs, and they were able to convert all but 6 of them. So that was definitely the key to keeping them in the game because Alcorn's offense was pretty much, boom, 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 boom down the field. They drove, but they were quick drives. Southern methodical all night down the field, and this is the outcome that you get from an offense like that when they're able to control the ball and score. So this was like I said, a very good offensive game for both teams. Southern was 0 for 1 on third down. On fourth down, Alcorn 2 of 3. red zone, Alcorn 4 for 6, Southern 5 for 6. Southern had a huge fourth quarter goal line stand. They were not able to move the ball off of that goal line stand, which led to Alcorn's final touchdown to set up Southern's game-winning field goal. So the defense did make one stop at the end that should have been enough to win, but the offense, being backed up at that 1 yard line, was unable to get out of that hole. And Alcorn offense, really responded well to that. Southern responded with a last-second drive. No sacks for Alcorn, one for Southern. Both offensive lines played pretty well. Like I said, this was a very good offensive game. You can say the defense didn't show up, but both defenses made plays when they could. I think both offenses were just very sharp in this game. Felix Harper, 13 of 26, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. His longest pass was 39. So they did not really attack Southern deep down the field, but they hit a couple big passes. Bubba McDaniel, 20 of 34, 258, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. His longest pass was 42. Nico Duffy, 19 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Felix Harper, 8 carries, 78 yards, 9.8 yards per carry. He did a really good job, especially on third down, of escaping. A couple times Southern did have him bottled in. He was able to get loose and use his legs a lot to extend plays in this game. I think Felix Harper played with his legs, kept Alcorn in this game offensively. He wasn't the sharpest passing the ball, as you can see, at a 50% completion rate, but his running in this game really kept Alcorn in it. Stafford Anderson, 11 carries for 35 yards. Southern was led by Gerard Sims in his second game back, his first real full game of action, 22 carries for 74 yards and 3 touchdowns. Glendon McDaniel, 10 carries, 56 yards. He also had some big third down scrambles for Southern to extend their drives. Kobe Dillon, 15 carries, 54 yards. Devon Ben, 3 carries, 15 yards. Skelton carried 2 times for 2 yards and a touchdown. I still really would like to see his role expanded a little bit, but he's doing what they asked of him. He's returning kicks. He's coming in red zone situations. TJ Bowler, 2 big touchdowns for Alcorn, including a one-handed touchdown in the fourth quarter to tie the game up, to set up the time 2-point conversion. He had 2 catches for 53 yards. Charles Pringle, 3 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Manny Jones, 4 catches, 29 yards. Tavares Griffin, 1 catch, 27 yards, and a touchdown. Khalif Gossett led Southern with 3 catches, 72 yards in his first catches of the season. He had a huge third down catch for Southern to extend one of their scoring drives. Chandler Whitfield, 3 catches, 48 yards. Marquise McClain, 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Sims, 2 catches, 37 yards. Washington, 5 catches, 36 yards. Cherilus led Alcorn with 14 tackles. McGee, 10. Kinsler, 7. Wilson, 7. And Damian Anderson, 7. Taylor, 6. Wren, 5. Blunt, 4. Haran, 4. And Barfield with 4. Tackles for loss, Dagry, 1. Anderson, 1. And Cherilus, 1. No sacks, no forced fumbles, and no interceptions. Southern was led by Ray Anderson with 11 tackles. Davin Cotton in his first action back, 9 tackles. Chase Foster, 9 tackles. Jordan, 7 tackles. Judson, 5. Papillon, 5. Tackles for loss. Anderson with 4 tackles for loss. Big game for him. 1.5 tackles for loss for Nash. And a half a tackle for loss for Peterson. And Anderson had the only sack. Forced fumbles were by Anderson, Judson, and Papillon. Fumble recoveries were by Anderson and Nash. Southern did block extra point for Alcorn. That kind of set up a huge 2-point conversion for them later. But this game ultimately came down to the leg of Luke Jackson, the freshman for Southern. He nailed a 47-yard field goal. His field goal kicking has been up and down. He's actually 5 of 8 now, but he's made a 43-yarder, 45-yarder, and now a 47-yarder to win the game. So that's a weapon for Southern that they can expand on. And I think this was just a very solid effort from both teams. I thought Southern responded well. Alcorn, they played hard, and they're still obviously in the SWAC West race. Man, that's so hard to say right now. Let's take a quick look at the Week 10 schedule. Alcorn heads to Daytona to take on Bethune-Cookman. 11 o'clock kickoff, ESPN Plus. Texas Southern is at Jackson State. 1 o'clock kickoff, JSU Sports Network. Valley is at Alabama A&M. 1 o'clock kickoff, Alabama A&M Sports Network. Grambling is at Pine Bluff. ESPN Plus broadcast 2 o'clock kickoff. Alabama State is at Prairie View, 2 o'clock kickoff. That's Prairie View's homecoming. Prairie View Sports Network. And FAMU is at Southern, 6 o'clock kickoff, ESPN Plus. So all 12 teams are in action. So 6 SWAC games next week. And we'll be back on Wednesday to cover it all. I'm your tour guide, man. I'm signing out. I am tired, man. It was a crazy, exhausting game. As you could probably look at my face, you can tell I'm pretty worn out. So I'm gonna get me some rest, man. Y'all enjoy y'all Sunday, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday with our Week 10 preview. SWAC Smoke live as usual on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and Week 10 recap on Sunday. So with that being said, I don't have no more, man. I got no more energy. I am out, man. Y'all enjoy y'all Sunday.